Hello and welcome to a review of Game 9 of the World Chess Championship between Jan and Magnus. Jan is currently down 2 games. Magnus has 5 points, Jan has 3 entering into Game 9. So if this is your first time checking out the series, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you do so please. So Jan really needs a win here, and he starts the game with c4. We have e6, g3, d5, bishop g2. So this is the last book move. It's the English opening, and I played this 27 times with a 44% win rate. It says in the master games, the best moves are knight f6, d captures c4, or c6. You see c6 gives white about a 44% win rate. So Magnus plays d4 here. It says that d captures is actually the best move. Then we have knight to f3, developing the knight. Knight to c6, white castles, bishop c5, developing the bishop, d3, knight f6, knight b to d2, a5, knight b3, bishop e7, moving it to safety, e3, challenging the pawn, d captures e3, bishop captures e3, knight g4, attacking the bishop. So white doesn't want to trade the dark square bishop for a knight. So it plays bishop to c5, strongest move. Black castles, d4, getting more space, a4, kicking the knight out. So a little bit of an in-between with bishop captures e7, great move. So white has a slight advantage here. Queen captures e7, knight to c5, a little bit of a, not quite an outpost because b6 can kick it away. We have a3, threatening to win the pawn on b2 and just taking more space. It says e5 would have been better. So b captures a3 and accuracy. Says pushing b4 would have been better. And let's just click on that line. Oh, well, this is the line with bishop captures a3. This line would have been pushing and then getting the rooks a little bit more active, kicking the knight away. So we end up having rook to d8, knight b3, knight f6, rook e1, queen captures a3. The double pawn was weak, and so Magnus captures it. Queen e2, h6, taking away the g5 square from the knight. h4, not a mistake, but not the best move. It wants rook e to d1, bishop d7, knight to e5, bishop e8, preserving the bishop, queen e3, queen b4, rook e to b1, best move, knight captures e5, d captures e5, knight g4, attacks the queen and the pawn. It says that knight to d7 would have been better. Queen e1 offers the queen trade here. So at this point, they're considered equal. Queen captures e1 with check. Rook captures e1, h5, and then we have bishop captures b7. So rook a4 considered an inaccuracy. Rook to a7 is considered best because it would dislodge that bishop. And so that's what the line would show. Bishop f3, and then playing rook to a3. But with this rook to a4 move, it almost set the scene for what would come next, because Jan played c5, which is a blunder. So take a moment and see if you can tell why it's a blunder. It says this ignores an opportunity to kick an enemy piece, and instead f3 is better. Attack the knight, make it move out of the way. So after c5, you have to think about this bishop currently cannot move to this square without being captured. It cannot move to this square without being captured, but it could run away potentially to e4, to f3, to g2, or to h1. But by playing this move, instead of playing a move attacking a knight, it opened up the door for c6 by Magnus. And now this bishop can't come here, it can't come here, can't come here. And you can give yourself up for a pawn potentially. So that was a big mistake. So now you play f3 to kick away the knight, but the damage you've done to yourself is pretty evident. So knight to h6, rook to e4. I'm trying to figure out how to free that bishop, but with rook to a7, now the bishop's under attack and it can't move. So you have rook to b4 defending it, but rook to b8 adds two attackers, and you really can't defend it, because if you play knight to a5, you just lose the knight and the bishop's still under attack. So Jan tries a4. You have rook a captures b7. Rook b6 is considered an inaccuracy. Rook captures b7 would have been better in this position. So that line looks like this. Captures, captures, knight back, rook to the a file. But at this point, it's still, at this point of the game, going to be very tough for Jan to come back. So rook captures b6, great move, wins material. C captures b6, rook captures b6, knight c5, knight f5. Now, the only hope is to push the pawn and create some trickery. So a5 is the best move, rook to b8, move in safety. a6 is good, but king to g2 is considered better, getting the king a little bit more active. So that line looks like this. And so trying to get the rook off of the back rank, but that's not what was played. So we have a6. So that led to this being a free pawn, and Magnus sees it and takes it. Knight a4, strongest option. Now black opens up a discovery on the knight and pushes his pawn with the move c5. So now we have a7 attacking the rook. So rook to d8, great move. It's the only good move. So, I mean, if you want to see the difference, if you play here, then the game's drawish again, because you have b6, and then then you would have something like this, which shows as a brilliant move, but is you still then have king to f2, and it's a drawless position at this point. So if we go back, so knight captures g2, then a4, try to complicate things, c5, a7, and then the rook to d8. White captures the pawn, but now the rook can go back to a8, and bishop, knight to b7's played, but then you have knight to e2 with check. It just says knight to f5's better, but king to f2, knight to c3, king to e3, knight to a4, knight to d6, and in this position, Jan resigns the game, because for him to come back, it would require Magnus to blunder, and they could have played on for a couple more hours. After move 40, they both get more time, but it's a clear losing position, and I guess his way of thinking is resign and go back and try to figure out how he can make up 3 points in 5 games. And I mean, the math for that says you need 3 wins and 2 draws, and so that would be 4-1 over the next 5 games to get to tie breaks. Obviously, 4 wins and a draw would also win the championship for him. It's a very tall task. And then if you have 4 wins and 1 loss, would also get you to the tie breaks. So I think each game will still be exciting, because he's going to have to come out with the black pieces and put up a good fight in game 10. But thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to give it a like, as I said, and let's just look at the accuracy ratings for this game, and it shows that black was actually 97% accurate and Jan was 92.6%, but it's all about that blunder and inaccuracy. So it's almost a shame, because right before the blunder, rook to a4 is an inaccuracy by Magnus, and then there's the blunder. So you never know how it's going to play out, but player of Magnus caliber, you think that things are looking pretty bleak at the moment. Thanks for checking out the video. Have a wonderful day.